Hello and welcome to Let's Pod This, the official podcast of Let's Fix This. My name is Andy Moore, and I'm one of your hosts, and my co-host, the good Mr. Scott Melson, is not with me today. Scott is still traveling, wrapping up his holiday travels, so it's just me and a couple of special guests that will be joining us in a few minutes. Ashten Hughes and Anna Facci are coming to us to talk about the New Leaders Council. It's a nationwide organization that recently launched an Oklahoma chapter, and Ashton is one of the co-directors. Anna is one of the inaugural group of fellows for the Oklahoma chapter. So they're going to join us in a few minutes to tell us a little bit more about their organization, how you can get involved, and about some exciting events that they have coming up. It's really cool, really great deal. I also want to tell you first about a few upcoming events for you to mark on your calendars. All these events are on our website and Facebook page, but wanted to tell you about them here on the podcast as well. On Monday, February 5th, will be the State of the State address. It's the very first day that the legislature will be in session for this spring, and the governor will deliver her State of the State address in the House chamber. You can watch online, but it's way more exciting if you're there in person. It's always a great crowd. It's usually really interesting too, and you get a chance to kind of hear what the governor's policy priorities are. And since this is the last year of Governor Fallon's term, this is when she's swinging for the fences. So I'm really interested to see what she hopes the legislature will pass and kind of where her head's at and what maybe we can anticipate the tone or the tenor of the legislative session will be. So that's Monday, February 5th. I believe it's 10 o'clock in the morning. But you can check our website and our Facebook page for all those details. Then, later in the month in February, it's going to be our first Capitol Day of the year. So we do these each month during session. This is our bread and butter, right? This is our signature event. This is where it's a chance for you to come to the Capitol, bring your friends, learn a little bit from us, from some legislators that will speak to the group, and then we kind of break out and go visit your legislators, your state rep, your state senator, and start or continue those relationships that maybe you talked to them last session and you want to let them know, hey, I'm still here. I still live in your district. You still represent me. And this is what matters most to me and my family. So the first Capitol Day is going to be on Thursday, February 22nd, and then Wednesday, March 28th. Thursday, April 26th, and Wednesday, May 9th. So there's one each month. Generally, they're towards the end of the month, so we can get a chance for some things to happen and move along. There will be other events that we'll add to the calendar along the way. We'll have I'm sure we'll have a Capitol crawl at some point. We'll do some other meetups. We're going to try to do some more kind of community-based events and education things. A lot more videos, but I wanted to make sure that you got those dates on your calendar. February 22nd, March 28th, April 26th, and May 9th. Mark those down your calendar. Each one of those will start at 9 o'clock in the morning. They're going to be in the Blue Room, which is on the second floor of the state capitol. And again, go to our website, letsfixthisok.org, or our Facebook page, facebook.com/letsfixthisok. You can get all the details and stay up to date on who's speaking, who's presenting, and any special themes we have for these events. If you've got a red button, wear it. We may have some kind of punch card or some kind of sticker thing. I want to know who among us has been coming to all of these events, and maybe there'll be some kind of prize for the person that makes it out to the Capitol for the most number of Let's Fix This events. We'll see. Okay, so you got those on your calendar now. I really hope that you will be able to make it out for some of these events. Bring a friend or a loved one, someone else who's maybe asked about you going to the Capitol, or if you've never been, if you're like one of the millions of Oklahomans who have never ever been to the state Capitol, maybe you don't even know who your state rep or state senator is. That's totally okay. Come on down. You don't have to talk to anybody. You can follow folks around. You can just kind of see what's up and see what we're all about. I would love to meet you myself. And the rest of our team. It's always informational, and I never had anyone come that said it wasn't informational, illuminating, and helpful. I think everyone has always enjoyed it, which strikes me as like both odd and incredibly awesome. So, okay, Quick break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Ashton and Anna. Okay, so we're joined today by Ashten Hughes and Anna Facci, who are both associated with an organization that I just learned about recently called the New Leaders Council. Ashton, you are one of the co-directors, along with Billy Perkins, who I've known for, well, I guess maybe 2 years now.
Yeah.
And Anna, you are one of the fellows for this year, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
That's correct.
Ashton, I'm going to let you tell us a little bit about NLC.
Yeah. So New Leaders Council is actually a national organization. It started about 10 years ago to fill the gap between folks who are in leadership now and folks who are going to kind of be taking over. So it's really passing on that knowledge. Since then, they've trained about 6,000 fellows.
Wow.
And 900 just this year are accepted into the institute,
Right.
which will run from January to May. 19 of them, or not 19, excuse me, 16 of them are going to be in our institute, very first institute in January. And what we cover is everything from fundraising to comms, to for-profit fundraising, how to build a small business, how to market yourself if you are a consultant, how to basically get more civically involved within your own space. And like I said, we're really, really excited about this year in Oklahoma specifically. I know Bailey has done a ton of work to try to get us on the map along with all of our other board members. So we're pretty excited about getting started.
Great. Sorry. Friend of the pod, Olive Hush Puppy, was barking.
Yes.
She was excited to be outside today because it's 45 degrees. So Anna, so you're one of those 6,000 fellows that are, and this is your first, they're connected with the New Leaders Council, and this is your first year with the organization?
Yeah. So I applied back a few months ago and was accepted as a fellow for the inaugural class here in Oklahoma. So I'm one of those 16 people that Ashton mentioned that will be part of the institute here locally, but really excited to join that larger network of over 6,000 folks who have been trained from across the country and across the years.
That's super exciting. How did you find out about it?
It got kind of recommended to me by word of mouth, actually even before there was a chapter here in Oklahoma, by some friends of mine who are alumni in the DC area. But then when the institute, or when Bailey and Ashton and the other people who were the other board members who were putting it together started to plan it, I was contacted by several board members, as well as helping send out the word myself to my network, and encouraged to apply and become a part of it. And so it's something that's right up my alley. I am always seeking these kinds of opportunities to do, for me as a government affairs professional, what is more or less like professional development, because there aren't a lot of professional development opportunities for government affairs folks that are institutionalized like this one is. So
Right.
I was excited to hear that was coming to Oklahoma.
Right. And one of the things that struck me when I was reading about the organization was that it's definitely reflective. Well, for one, it's bipartisan. It goes across states of all colors.
Yep.
Red, blue, purple, green, whatever.
Everything
And everything in between. And it also, it sounds like the participation, the fellows that are participating in it are also reflective of that. I know it's focused on millennials, but also there's a lot of females and a lot of people of color. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I don't have the stats with me right in front of me, but I know over 50% is female. I think around, and I'm not really sure what the stats are.
Yeah,
but
I pulled it from the website and it said 53% women and
Yeah.
57% non-white.
Yeah.
Which is, especially in a state like Oklahoma,
Mhm.
is pretty exceptional.
Yeah, and that's what I really love about our first class too. It's very eclectic in terms of gender orientation, sexuality, male-female ratio, whites versus non-whites. And I think only 2 of our fellows identify as white heterosexual.
Right.
So that's as long as we can keep bringing those folks to the table and, let their voices be heard and just build coalitions in that way, I think we'll be very successful.
Sure. Are you guys, aside from just kind of training and that kind of continuing education piece, are there specific issues that you guys are concerned about or following, or is it just about the education of like how to do the work?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I will say that it tends to, the issues that we follow are driven by what the class wants. So during intake, fellows actually get to participate in a survey, and it stems from, we want to be able to meet you at your level and teach you what you want to be taught. So, there are several different policy areas, several different issue areas that they can choose from, and our curriculum is very broad. It's broad enough to support those. So there is a set curriculum, but we do have the ability to tailor it to our fellows' needs during that class.
So there's kind of some freedom to choose within like a relative framework of like, these are the things you can choose from, a menu of choices.
Right.
A veritable buffet.
Yeah, and that's what I really like about it too, because it lets us focus on what's important to Oklahomans, because the curriculum in Oklahoma is going to look a lot different than the curriculum in, say, San Francisco or DC.
Sure. Right.
So we are able to localize it pretty well and pull in local experts on these modules, whether it be local politics, whether it be communications and whatnot.
Right. That reminds me of another organization that is nationwide and recently expanded to Oklahoma, Generation Citizen. And when they train high school students, and they call it Action Civics. Yeah. Anna, were you one of the judges with me back last summer?
Yes, I've judged both Civics Day fairs this year. Yeah, one back at the end of the spring semester and one at the end of the fall semester. So it's a really cool program to see young folks. They choose their own issues, kind of, I think they have a little bit more freedom than the NLC curriculum might have, in that they truly get to choose their own subject, whatever they want it to be. And then they have a program that teaches them how to be involved at every level, which is the part that's most similar to NLC. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, and the thing that made me think about Generation Citizen is that they get to choose issues that maybe are pertinent, and so what it looks like in Oklahoma may be different than what it looks like in New York or California. Yeah. When the Generation Citizen National Board was here a couple of months ago, I had the opportunity to meet with some of them, and they were asking lots of questions about Oklahoma politics and how things work or don't work, and it was, most of them are from the East Coast, some from out west. But I don't know that there was anyone from kind of the middle of the country, and it was really interesting for me to talk to them and kind of hear their feedback and just you do what, why, how, why is everything like this, and it was funny for them to hear our reasoning, and for me to hear what it's like, and things are very different in Brooklyn than they are in Oklahoma City, and so I think it's great. For both programs to have that kind of flexibility to adapt and reflect the important issues of that area.
Absolutely.
Anna, I don't know how far along you are in this fellowship thing, but have you guys selected certain topics of interest for this next year?
Yeah, I think that when, as Ashton mentioned, when we did our intake process, after we'd been accepted and filled out all the information about ourselves and what we were interested in, we had the opportunity to kind of say, these are my top 3 interest areas. And I'm assuming that the schedule for our institute was set based on the aggregate of what everyone was most interested in. So I know that we'll be having programs that focus on things like strategic communication and fundraising, like Ashton mentioned, coalition building, and then specific policy areas as well. But actually we have our first meeting later this month. So we begin our first institute meeting or day is towards the end of this month on a Saturday, and then we meet once a month for the next 6 months.
So January 20th is the first.
Did I get that right?
Yeah.
That's great. So once a month for the next 6 months?
Yeah, so from January until May. And then one thing that I failed to mention earlier is this program is completely free.
Oh, wow.
So aside from a seat deposit to, just to make sure you have skin in the game, we are required to fundraise to pay it forward to the next class.
Okay.
So the chapter fundraiser generally happens in June.
Okay.
So, and then,
so they have to plan what that fundraiser looks like?
Yep. So they have to plan it. They have to solicit donations for it. And that's all part of kind of the skills transfer. Not only are we teaching you these skills, but we're giving you an arena to apply them in. And the same thing with a Capstone project, which is something that I really love about the program. Yeah. So for the capstones, it's a lot different than what you would go through in a master's program, because obviously this is a shorter amount of time. Right. But we ask our fellows to choose an area, a policy area, or just something that they want to improve by going through NLC. So say for Anna, it would be social justice, right, sure. Anna?
Yeah. Yes, correct.
So whether that be policy change or starting an advocacy organization, so identifying a project that you want to complete and start mapping out that plan to get there. Okay. Start making those contacts, start leveraging those bigger national contacts that are going to come with NLC.
Right.
Because we really do have a really great national support system. And they always say, like, once you're NLC family, you're family, and you can always reach out to other chapter fellows or even the larger national network, and somebody will know something about what you are trying to do. Right.
So there's some kind of deliverable at the end of the program.
Yeah.
That not only like is an accomplishment for the fellow, but also it's
specifically Oklahoma.
Right.
So and that, I think that's a really great benefit to Oklahoma, because our plan is to always have someone doing something to improve the state.
Right. Sorry for my dog.
That's
who's
okay.
deciding to be a part of this phone call.
Sounds like a lot of dog drama.
Yeah. Right. So Ashton, you were a fellow previously, right?
I was, yeah.
So what was your project?
So mine was to get more involved in the women's organizations in Oklahoma City. Mm-hmm. So whether that be like Planned Parenthood or the Women's Center there. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get as involved as I wanted because I moved shortly after. Mm-hmm. But one of the great things about NLC is that it's almost everywhere. So I did go through the chapter in Omaha in 2015, moved to Sacramento at the end of 2015. Ended up connecting with the chapter there, got a job with SEIU Local 1000. Okay. Wasn't able to stay there for more than a year or two, so ended up moving here, and I was looking for that community and that network, and I was like, oh, well, we need NLC here, because I found during my research that we didn't have a chapter.
Right.
So I reached out to the national organization, and that's when they had connected me with Bailey, and we've kind of been moving down the road ever since with that.
Right. Super exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited to see how it kind of evolves. And just from reading through the list of your kind of board of directors and the list of fellows you have, it sounds like you've got a tip-top class to start it off. And that's really exciting. I can't wait to see like this new group of leaders.
Yeah.
I mean, as we're starting to see in the news almost every week, the old guard is leaving,
right,
whether by their choice or not in some cases.
Right.
And we need people who have not just the desire, but like the skills to step in and kind of take on some of those roles.
Absolutely.
You can't, despite what people may think, good policy isn't driven by the seat of your pants, like just trying to make it up as you go.
Right. Well, and it's not driven by a party either.
Right.
And that's one really great thing that I do like about NLC. It's not party based. I mean, we're a 501c3, so we legally are obligated not to engage in party activities.
Right.
So I like to say that no party has the monopoly on good people.
Right.
So our goal is really to get everybody in here who wants to be a part of NLC, have them sit at the table and talk and work together. And then 5-10 years down the road, we have a cohort of folks who have worked together, who know how to work together, who can actually, go in and make good policy.
Right. And whether those folks like Anna stick around in Oklahoma or move to other states,
Right.
year after year, that becomes a bigger and bigger network of people who speak the same language, who I think know, like any alumni network,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of know the stock from what they come.
Sure.
And so that helps build trust and maybe not legitimacy, but like trust and
Rapport.
That's a good word. Something to
Yeah.
help foster those relationships way down the road when
Yeah.
they matter, that we can't even foresee from right now. So
Absolutely.
that's great. How can people find out more about the New Leaders Council?
Yeah, so we have a website. It's ok.newleaderscouncil.org. And we are actually having a Meet the Fellows event on January 20th. So folks will be able to come to the event, talk to the fellows, get a sense of what we're all about. It's going to be 6 p.m. at the third floor balcony at Mass Mutual.
Okay.
So down in Midtown.
Right.
It is a fundraiser, but there's no cost to attend. But like I said, we do have to fund other classes, and it's always
Sure.
a pay it forward model, and any amount always helps.
Right.
So.
So it sounds like this is not part of our agenda here, but January 20th is going to be a busy day because you guys have the third event in a row that I know of now.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, there is some kind of women's march again.
Yep, the National Women's March is that day too.
Is that day. And then from 3 to 5 p.m., Let's Fix This and some other organizations are going to have kind of a little information, just a meetup, and the location is yet to be announced.
Okay.
Our first choice fell through today, so
Oh, no.
stay tuned for that if you happen to be listening to this. And then you guys will be at 6 p.m.
Yep.
We'll try to list everything on our website.
Great, yeah, thank you
as
so
well,
much.
and share it through social media. It sounds like that Saturday on my calendar has been blank for a while, and suddenly
And
I've
now
got
it's not
3
anymore.
things
Yeah.
in a row. So it could be a really fun afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, Anna and Ashton, thank you so much for being
you.
here.
Thanks for having
And we
us.
look forward
Of
to
course.
following along with New Leaders Council. And that brings us to the end of this episode. Big thanks to our guests, Ashten Hughes and Anna Facci, and their information about the New Leaders Council. Remember, you can connect with us on Twitter and Instagram at Let's Fix This OK. You can hit me up. I'm at AndyOKC. Scott is at SC Melson. You can also like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Let's Fix This OK. And our website is letsfixthisok.org, where you can sign up for our newsletter, read our blog, and find details about all those upcoming events that I mentioned earlier. Our podcast is edited and produced by Scott and me, and Let's Pod This is a member of the Mostly Harmless Media Network. Our theme music is provided by the Sugar Free All-Stars. Let's Fix This is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization who strives to educate and equip all Oklahomans to engage with the government, especially in meaningful ways. We encourage you to get involved in any way that you can, and remember, decisions are made by those who show up.